Hello everyone, this is day 93, building a house every day for 100 days. Just getting a note here. Kind of get this like landscape in. I had this idea for this house. I was kind of working off a bit of like a reference image I found of like some kind of like concept art for some kind of like fantasy type house. I don't really know. I'll put it on screen if I remember when I'm editing. But yeah, it kind of was my idea for it. Just getting the layout here. As I'm doing this, thank you guys for the support recently. I really appreciate it. Channel's been doing really well. This house is dedicated to my newest Patreon member. I'm Lunar. Really appreciate it. If you want a house dedicated to you, it's just $3 a month, where you get access to all the houses and everything. So yeah. Back to the house here though. Get this like pan, and I don't know why I'm over here, to be honest. But yeah, we're just filming the house here. I use like white wool as kind of a placeholder. I'm sure you saw from the thumbnail, kind of like a white base for the house with like red roof and red kind of like accents and stuff like that. So I'm just getting the shape in. Going for like mangrove here. I didn't sit on like the final block palette. I really don't use mangrove except for the frame by the end of this. Yeah, I'm just filling everything in. It's kind of like it's a pretty big house. Feels like there's a lot of wall to texture, basically. I mean, you'll see in a minute here. Because, all those white areas, I'm going to have to texture. I'm going to have to go back. But I'm just getting the frame of the roof in for now. Kind of get this like thing on the left. I'm not actually sure what to call it. Like, it just kind of comes out a bit more out of the wall. Over here on the right, we have this smaller area. I already know I'm going to make that like kind of like a shed when I get to the interior. Maybe not a shed, like a storage area. Like, don't know exactly, but I think you get the idea. Start filling the roof. Like I said earlier, I go for mangrove at first, and I kind of figure I'm going to texture it, like gradient it up. But as you'll see in a second, it just looks really bad, honestly. I think it's because it also has mangrove on the frame, so it just doesn't look good. You can see that house on the right over there, where I did like a similar thing, except it has a spruce frame on it. And it looked way better there, but I think with the mangrove frame, it just looks really wrong. I didn't want to use spruce for the frame of the house on this one. I wanted to try to keep it mostly red on the top. So yeah, I use this back section as kind of like a testing area for it, of just all red, and it just looks way better. So decided to just go back to the front, remove the mangrove, and just texture it. I use concrete and concrete powder. Just looks way better, in my opinion. I'll come back over to the back, just keep the texturing up. I'll get this like small part on the bottom here. Had like a weird roof. I kind of have to make it one block centered, even though it shouldn't really matter that much, but it just looks really wrong because it'll have two blocks on the top that are kind of flat with each other. So if I do that, it just doesn't look too good if you look too closely at it. Texture this kind of like front, I guess it's like covered porch kind of area. I don't know exactly what to call it. Get this extra roof section on the top. Just knew I wanted this here. It fills the roof up nicely. Kind of fits with the concept image I was using too. If you can't think of ideas for a house, I'd highly just recommend just looking around, trying to find stuff that inspires you. Don't be ashamed to kind of use other builds as inspiration, or other like drawings and like mediums of art as inspiration, because it can help. You can make a cool thing out of it. I don't always use it though. I feel like a lot of the times the ideas, I just kind of pull them out of thin air. Like the last two houses specifically, I just kind of just came to me. But yeah, back to this house here. Start the texturing. Takes kind of ages, admittedly. Polished diorite, normal diorite, calcite, white wool, and white concrete powder. Kind of like the classics for this. You kind of use like the diorite and like the darker blocks in general, almost like a shadow, but not really like completely a shadow. Just like, I try not to use them in the middle, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because I feel like they just kind of stand out too much if you use them on like the just center of a wall. So I try to keep them in like corners, like top and bottom. I feel like it looks good, almost like more organic kind of weathering. But it doesn't really have to even just be weathering. Like, it doesn't, don't have to use it in like a ruined kind of way. It just helps break it up in general, which I really like. Finally finished texturing. This is a good time. If you want to support me, I got a Patreon link down below. I'd really appreciate it. You get access to everything I build for the channel, including this house and all the ones you see around this one. I'd really appreciate it. Also got a Discord down below if you want to join. There'll be a link in the description. A lot of cool people in there talk about Minecraft, that kind of stuff. But yeah, back to the house here. I'm getting the windows in. I know I want to use a lot of spruce as like the kind of like accent color to the white and the red. Just like the way it looks. I feel like I use spruce pretty heavily in like all my houses. I feel like very few have no spruce in them, if any. So I'm just getting like the railings in for this porch. Kind of wrap it around. Some windows in on like the side thing here. Move the dirt around it too. It's just kind of lined up weird with the landscape. Out of my last like maybe like 30 or even almost 40 houses now, this one probably has like the least landscaping since I believe it was like day 55, 57 I think maybe I started doing landscaping with it. Let's go really light on the landscape on this one. I kind of let the house speak for itself here. Pretty happy with how it came out in the end though. Get these windows on the side. It's kind of getting really complicated. I got all these different height windows on this house here. So I decided to head inside, which I don't usually do here. I just get the floors in to figure out where I want to put the windows. Because the interior and the exterior of the house aren't really separate, like pretty much ever. Like you might think like you build an exterior, then you build an interior, but you kind of have to build both with like the other one in mind. So you build the exterior, you know, you're putting the windows in, and you got to think of how they'll line up on the interior and what kind of stuff you'll put on the inside. Like I've made this large stained glass kind of thing here, and I knew that meant I had to have a loft in the inside because I couldn't have a floor against that. So either a loft or like a tall ceiling. Either way though, I think the interior was coming along nicely, like the plan I had for it. I had something in my head. I'll see that at the end of the video. Start working on some other stuff. Get like, I don't really know what to call it. Like I get like spruce fences underneath parts of the roof to like hang stuff off of. Get a bunch of lanterns in, some flower pots as well. Again, just kind of fill the space up, get some light in. Make sure to not leave any area looking too empty. Kind of need to like evenly detail everywhere or it looks really wrong. Get these bushes in. In the front, I kind of keep them very like square and straight, almost like hedges, I guess. Like trimmed and like maintained. It's like a nice house, you know, it's like a fancy house. Get the door in to like that right thing. I know in the front, I'm gonna put this like large, like rounded door. You might kind of be able to see it there. I'll fill all the pots in. A lot of red and orange and green. I just feel like that kind of matched the color scheme the best. So I get all the flowers in. Some saplings. And yeah, it's kind of outside of like the house itself. Really almost done here. Put a few more smaller things around, fill space up. Get these like trapdoors and signs just for some more spruce to break up the white a bit. Head down here, get the door in. Go for this like 4 tall door. I like the way it looks. Some more flowers, add some more stuff in there. Get the sign in. The sign is the sign for my Patreon member, my newest patron. I'm Lunar. Really appreciate the support. Doing a house dedicated to you. Again, like I said earlier, just $3. I'd really appreciate it. But honestly, just watching and subscribing, more than enough. I appreciate everyone who made it this far in the video, to be honest. But yeah, to the back here, I get this cook tree in. Really like the way this tree looks for some reason. I'm not sure if it's like the height or just like the leaf placement. I just think it looks really good. And I'll put another one in a second here. I got a tree tutorial on my channel. It's like a short. I don't know if it really is that much of a tutorial or just like a build, but you know, it's kind of a tutorial. Yep, get this other tree in the front on the left here. Kind of like smaller trees than I usually do, but I like the way they look. Spruce at the bottom, oak in the middle, and azalea leaves at the top. Kind of just makes like a nice gradient of color. And yeah, it's the outside pretty much done, I think, unless I'm missing something. So we head inside. Kind of a big interior, honestly. I wasn't exactly sure what to do with like all the space in here, even though earlier I was saying I kind of had a plan for it, but still some questions in my head here. Like there's a lot of room down here and I wasn't sure what to fill it with. Obviously the kitchen and like the fridge and everything, very self-explanatory. I know I always put that basically in like the back window. It just feels natural. Get this kind of like island thing, but like I don't know if it's really an island because it's touching a wall. I guess kind of just counter space. Some bookshelves are on the door. Kind of add some color, fill the space up. Some carpeting, kind of like an entertainment area over there. Dining space on the left. Kind of knew I was going to do that with this long window. Like I said earlier, the interior and the exterior kind of like work together. Put a lot of stuff in front of the windows that like complement the space of it, I guess is how I'd say it. Kind of turn this into almost like a plant room, garage. I guess not a garage, like work area. I don't really know what to call it. It's garage without the garage part, I guess. Some shelves up, some chests, barrels. Get this like hanging light thing. Get grow light. Didn't know what to do with this space. Decided it was a good spot for like a staircase instead of using a ladder. So get the spiral staircase up. It's a bit cramped, but I like it. It's pretty good. Some plants up to fill the space. Couple lanterns. Add some light. Go through and put some paintings around. Just kind of fill the walls up. Make it look a bit less empty. More like lived in. Put another like counter here. Yeah, that's it for the bottom floor. Pretty happy with how it came out. Head upstairs to the second floor now. Carry the staircase all the way up. Get this kind of loft in above. There's a cut in the replay there, my bad. I had it paused, but yeah, get this reading area. Get this kind of like entertainment space. I got a big TV with this weird painting that I don't think I've ever used in the series before. A couple armor stands. Really liking the way it's coming out so far. Again, like I said earlier, interior, exterior kind of work together. Got this like large window there on the left, which made it so I couldn't bring the loft over, but I think that was actually a good thing because I think the window adds a lot to the interior as well as the exterior. Head over here. Windows are kind of weird heights, but I think it's fine. Got like a desk area, a bed over there on the left. I don't know if you could really see it. Like a mini fridge. That's about it for this floor. Some more lights. I come down, I put more paintings up, I think, in a minute. Head up to the third floor, just a loft. Really like the way this interior came out, honestly. I was kind of dreading doing it when I was building the house because it's a lot of space, but I think it came out pretty good. Bookshelves are on the bed, kind of trying to make it like cozy and like full. Another large painting here. Some armor stands, like clothing, I guess. Candles, lanterns, hang some flower pots up. Get a few paintings to kind of fill the walls. Kind of like section the space off a little bit with that support beam. I think it looks really good. I like the way it looks. Just add some more color in there. Some brown to kind of contrast with the red and the white. At least in my head, that's what it does. I don't know. Some more paintings up. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. House is dedicated to my newest Patreon member. I'm Lunar. I really appreciate it. If you want a house dedicated to you, $3. Patreon link down below. Join the Discord as well. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.